Dear friends, today we have a special guest with us. It is none other than our beloved Bishop of the Medak Diocese, Church of South India, Right Reverend Dr. A.C. Solomon Raj Tandrikaru. Before we proceed to have a talk with him, I would like to do a short recap of the different timelines in his journey so far. Born on 18th March 1961, he had his schooling at the Wesley Boys High School, Secunderabad, followed by his graduation, Bachelor of Commerce degree from the Government Giriraj College in Nizamabad. On God's calling, he went on to have his theological education at the United Theological College in Bangalore in the year 1988. After completing 4 years of his graduation there, Honorable Tandrikaru was ordained as a deacon on 6th of October 1992. He had been ordained as a presbyter by Bishop B.P. Sugandar on April 1994. Tandrikaru had served in multiple pastorates like Varni, Adilabad, Manjirial, Shankar Nagar, EDF, STC, Bolaram, Garrison Wesley, and so on. Respected Tandrikaru had the distinct opportunity to be the vice chairperson of Medak Diocese for consecutive 3 terms, that is more than a decade. On 12th October 2016, Tandrikaru was appointed to lead the Medak Diocese and consecrated on the next day at St. George's Cathedral, Chennai. On 23rd of April in 2017, he was bestowed with an honorary doctorate by the Andhra Christian Theological College. Last year, on 2nd of February, Right Reverend Dr. A.C. Solomon Raj Tandrikaru was awarded the Swarna Kamal National Award of Excellence in Interfaith Unity. Last year was yet another memorable year for the Medak Diocese when Tandrikaru led the reception of the Most Reverend and Right Honorable Justin Welby, Archbishop of Canterbury. Recently this year, Tandrikaru was elected as the Vice Chairperson of the Board of Governors, Andhra Christian Theological College. Let me take this opportunity to welcome Tandrikaru on completing 4 years of his office to have a short interview with us now. Dear Tandrikaru, congratulations on completing 4 years of office as the Bishop of Medak Diocese, Church of South India. It is with great happiness we consider this opportunity to talk to you on this occasion.
You're welcome, and I really appreciate your gesture coming over here and taking this brief interview to be part of your magazine, the pastorate magazine. It is indeed, 4 years of office. I'm first generation Christian. My father was a converted Christian, but he worked in the Diocese of Medak for 32 years. Unfortunately, he died while in service due to current shock. Of course, I'm his first eldest son, and being a convert when I was born, he offered me for the ministry. So I'm first generation Christian, and becoming a bishop is something beyond human imagination. What is God's providence and God's choice?
Shall we begin?
Yes, please.
So, I recollect during a confirmation service on 23rd April 2017 in the CSI Malayalam Pastorate, when you were addressing the gathering, you had mentioned revival and reorientation within our diocese as your primary goal. So, 3 years down the line, how do you recollect the challenges you have faced as well as the steps achieved in this direction?
Yeah, the Episcopal movement in the diocese, being the 8th bishop, I appreciate, applaud, and recognize and honor all the work that has been done by the bishops before me. I stand on the foundations laid by them. Therefore, I do not say anything of the past. Rather, when the mantle has been handed over to me, I just correct your word, because mine was reorganization, reorientation, and rebuilding.
Yes, yes.
reorganization, reorientation, rebuilding. This caption I brought in because we are almost now to the 75th year of our formation. Almost we are going 3 years and 2 years. And Medak Diocese, though it has more than 100 years of mission and its ministry and its history. I counted from the formation of the CSI, that is 1947. So almost we're completing for 72 years. Likewise, the Medak Diocese. The priorities and the vision of the mission has lived 75 years now almost. Now my vision would be to reorganize the same vision and to reorient ourselves to the developed world and the modern world, and then rebuild in accordance with the reorientation and reorganization. Therefore, I see it as a steps. For me, I understand that the church was unable to put itself with the developing situation of the world. And we went on with the same mission, same mind. Of course, we need it, but we have not innovated ourselves into the present need and also the psyche and the mindset of the people. Of course, people have come from the bottom to the middle, second class layer. And Indian community, I think we have 350 million people who have come into the upper and middle class, strands. But yet there is a substantial flaw or at the bottom. The church needs to attend to that. So looking at that point of understanding, looking at the background of the mission that we have come from, Wesleyan Methodist, and it's all its organizational structures, I thought we need to reorganize it. We have to reorient ourselves to the reorganized structure and then rebuild within that reorganized, reoriented structure so as to go with the present modern world. I think the last 3.5 years, a lot of restructuring, reorganizing, reorientation, including institutions. It's a slow process. You have to move slowly. You cannot just make everything hack and peck and then you say something is new. Not to disturb, at the same time to rebuild and to reorganize and to reorient. I think we have done it not only in the institutions, but also in the life of the church, especially in the ministry, in the formation of the pastors and pastoral formation, everything.
Thanks, Mini, for correcting me also.
Yeah, it's okay.
Last year in February, on 2nd precisely, you had received the Swarna Kamal National Award for Excellence in Interfaith Unity by the then Union Minister of State for
Alphons.
Shri Alphons, Kannanthanam. In light of that honor, we would like to ask you, Tantrigaru, what is your advice towards the younger generations in maintaining a peaceful and harmonious society, upholding the goodwill of our country?
I always say that respect each other. Respect the faith of the others. Nowhere in the Bible, accusations are been allowed. I mean, the Bible doesn't ask you to go accuse somebody, but rather to forgive. The forgiveness is one of the basic line for living in harmony. Because the forgiveness also includes love for the other. Love for the other. So once you get into the interfaith, inter-religious culture, we have to command respect for each other's faith. Unless you respect each other, you won't respect each other's faith. So that is where, because of our secular nature of our country, for years and thousands of years, we are all living together with all the different strands of faith that is prevalent in our country. So I always say, we continue to go for the interfaith dialogue, where the harmony of life, living together, enjoying the religious freedom that has been enshrined in our constitution of freedom of your religion. And of course, one has to be very careful not to accuse others, but accommodate others. While we continue to uphold our faith, while the Christ becomes central of our faith and our communities, and that fragrance of communities, Christ-centered communities, will bring the gospel and message to others. One individual's choice. Therefore, let their freedom be exercised while we live in harmony with love for each other. And that's where I think people have recognized, because I've been part of this lot of movements in the church and also outside before becoming a priest. So I don't know who must have given them the data.
Tantrigaru, last year on 5th of September 2019, it was a historic moment for our diocese. when we had the privilege to have a reception of the Most Reverend and Right Honorable Justin Welby, Archbishop of Canterbury.
It is one of the greatest moments in my life and my personal responsibility as the bishop of this diocese. They have chosen three main places. One is like Kerala, one is Karnataka, and the other one is Andhra. Now, Andhra is for all the 6 dioceses of Andhra, right from Krishna Godavari, Nandyal, Rayalaseema, and Karimnagar, and also Donakal, along with Medak. The Archbishop is considered to be the head of the Protestant Church. You know, the Catholics go for Pope, but the Church over the years, the Church of England, and you know, the evolution of Archbishop, and you know, all that process, and Commonwealth countries who were under the British rule, and especially the Methodist Church and the Wesleyan Methodist Church, and all this what you call, you know, Anglican churches. We don't have an Anglican church, rather we have an Anglican tradition continuing in our diocese. There are 4 or 5 churches which continues to have Anglican tradition. So with all this and coming to share that mission, you know, to understand each other's mission, to understand each other's cultural heritage, where the mission is expressed in unison, in oneness. Christ is one and faith is one. And that really mattered because we have presented the Telangana Christian cultural aspects to them. And he was very much enthralled with the way that he really experienced. He went back and wrote back to me saying that he really experienced the Telangana or Andhra Telugu Christian culture.
Yeah. Thanks, Tilman. The protection of Medak Cathedral with a compound wall was one of your prime focus areas, the launch of which had happened with the Nehemiah project this year.
Yes.
Could you please let know your thoughts on that journey towards that?
This diocese of Medak is a very huge diocese. It covers almost 13 districts out of 31 districts, almost quarter of it. Diocese population is more than 4.5 lakhs. And we have almost 250 and odd, 58 and odd clergy with 120 evangelists. I have some 10 missionaries and 20 Bible women approximately. And with all the knowledge in the movement and within diocese, we have around 1,300 congregations. That what's being said. Of course, we have to have some rationalization there. But I moved to every village. Sometimes even places where there is no congregations. Okay. And even I went and visited the lands. And if I tell you, if you start from Bellampalli, Kagaznagar, you have 13 acres of land, which is in trouble. So likewise, being the part and the vice chairman, and I was the vice chairman and the vice chairman simultaneously. So it went on like that, and on that particular day we thought, no. Building big buildings is second priority. Yeah. And going in for some for charity we need money. So to raise money, we have to have some projects. That is secondary, but first let us protect the land. So then I brought the issue into the executive committee and the property board, and through the approval of the property board and executive committee, along with the officers then and now, we conceived it. Then we conceived it from a small way from the Sunday school.
Okay.
In one of the syllabus we gave them as Nehemiah.
Yeah.
Nehemiah. Then we thought, why can't we start a Nehemiah project of building? The compound was around all the compounds, okay. Starting from Medak. Now we have around 238 to 300 acres of land now. Okay. So that has to be protected. So then me and along with the Samson and along with the Presbyterian in charge of the Cathedral and K. Andrews Prem Sukuma, yeah. And the committee of the pastorate committee of the Cathedral, we planned and we started to announce. I think we are moving very forward, and likewise we are now completing the fencing around Vadiyaram, and now next we are going to take up Ramyampet. Next we are going to take up Kamareddy, and also we are going to get into Armour, and then we have Nirmal, which is already almost finishing, okay. And Laksharpet is almost finishing. Almost it has around 25-35%. Here also 25-35%. Then Manchidal you have the wall around, yeah. All the 17 acres. So my project is to safeguard the land first, so that the land is protected, you can go for the project, because huge diocese, lots of programs, our hospitals are gone, and our schools are dying because of the Telugu medium and the focus is going towards. And the government is coming KG to PG, and so many programs, and concepts of education. In that, what is our, we need to have to refix our priorities. On that basis, for me, I thought God has allowed me to do this, and I'm going to do it for the whole diocese. Wherever there's a property, we are going to fence everything.
Thank you. While getting ordained as a deacon way back in 1992, it's a bit question about self. What was your feeling, Tirumeni, about the challenges or difficulties you might face? Now it's 35 plus years now.
I'm a man who will not mince my words. When I want to say something, I never go back. When I came back from 88, 92 from UTC Bangalore, the diocese was going through some strike system, and my father was part of that. Later, when I see Dan and Casey Martin and CJ Robert Nathaniel and so many other things. The bishop was Victor Premsagar. I don't know what was going on here. I was in the Telescope College, but I was the general secretary of the college, and I was part of the inter-seminary colleges secretariat and all that. Cultural secretary, sports secretary, and Telugu fellowship secretary, something like that. They already had a picture about me even before I came here, because of my life, even before I went to the ministry, because it was call. I was in different life patterns and into a left-wing movement almost. Now, that was the situation where God called me to this ministry, and I represented. I was an athlete, I was a champion, and I was representing monotrophy. I was there in football, I was in basketball. Govada Sampath was one of our coaches in basketball. Norman, I remember my friends, Abbasi, some friends like that. I had some seniors. Isaac Narayan was my crewmate. We were all playing even the state level games and all. I was sent to ministry from the Kaudipelli pastorate of Medak, and I studied my 88-92 batch in UTC for my BD. When I came back, because my father was involved in some of the things that were happening here, I was looked from that view. But I remember Bishop Victor Premsagar insisted upon that he ordains me. My ordination was October 6th, 1992. Only two of us, me and Reverend Samarpana Kumari, was the other two candidates for being ordained as the deacons. So my feeling was, Lord, I am here, and your servant hears you. That's what the great the prophet, when Eli was looking at Samuel, was answering back to God. I said, yes, my Lord, I hear at you.
Nice to know, Tirumeni. Your messages are really thought-provoking and invoke interest for the people. I personally recollect many of your sermons, especially in this pandemic period while you were doing from the Medak Cathedral. One important thing is that we get to hear a lot of biblical references and connotations when you speak. It's always quite wondering, despite your hectic schedule, how do you find a balance to prioritize different tasks and still focus on the doctrinal aspects of your sermons?
In this pandemic, I think I must have preached more than 55 messages. My whole focus was to keep my church, God's church and the God's people, my diocese, with the feeding of the word. And my father, before his 4 days before his death, and putting me into the ministry in Gopalpet of Sajjana Pastorate, we both were chatting together, sitting before my house. It is in Son, where he died. The moment I joined, and the 4th day he died. He told me 3 things. Be open, be faithful and truthful to your call. Prepare yourself the word, don't take it for granted. Because this is the word that gives you strength And it's the word that makes you to grow as a pastor. My father was also a very good preacher. Though I move, my schedule is too busy and I move around. I travel more than 9 to 10,000 kilometers a month. I will not preach the word without preparation. And in the pandemic, I think I took 2-3 days at a time for every message. I prepared 2-3 messages at a time, continuously, because I keep my mind with the word. And I look to the God's wisdom. And I go back to the Lord in prayer. I spend time in prayer and then prepare the word. When I prepare the word, I ask God to guide me with His heavenly wisdom. And I really enjoy it. And once I get into the pulpit, I do not switch on my individual wisdom, but I ask God and who speaks. And I've been taught in homiletics in UTC. I'm grateful to UTC for its theological content that I could really grasp in. And even today, I go through Hebrew Bible and Greek Bible and a lot of commentaries where I pick what I want. Where I pick I want. My father left a good library of his own times. So I go back 50, 60 years back sometimes to the beginning of these interpretations and what would it mean to be interpreted the same in the present day context, and to bring it into the understanding sphere of my people here. That's where I enjoy. But I prepare, and I don't preach without preparation. See, it's a bad luck for the bishop, Our almanac is wonderfully prepared for the whole year. For bishop, I have to speak only for baptisms, early communion, or confirmation, Christmas, resurrection. Wherever you go, these are the themes that I'm given, That is the occasions,
Yeah.
Wherever I go, I have to do confirmation. Wherever I go, I have to do dedications. Only those things. But I love to go through. I prepare my sermons on doctrines. I love to preach doctrines. Every member of the CSI should be, especially Medak Diocese, should be equipped with the doctrines.
Yes.
For that sake, I think we are going to start our magazine again. We have been quiet for a long time. I think we are going to have it.
Ricardo, you had been the vice chairman of Medak Diocese for more than a decade, and also that too in a consecutive fashion. How has it helped you to understand more about the congregations as well as the culture of the Medak Diocese?
I'm a grassroots leader. I lived at the bottom in the village structure for 16 years. Of course, political impact on me. And I don't say I opposed or differed, but I always used to go through constitutional, for me, future church. God called me to protect it, to preserve it, and to carry it for the coming generation. So that is where I used to differ certain times. But to be elected as, first I was elected as the chairman of a deanery, which had around 35 pastorates. Simultaneously, I became the vice president of the diocese, vice chairman of the diocese, and also the chairman of the district church council. Our district church council is very big, almost equivalent to some of the dioceses, small dioceses. So now we have 112 pastorates. Our pastorates are very big compared to other dioceses. 12 years consecutive election process, and what I felt is, I had a vision. A vision to be fulfilled, I need to have a platform. So to have a platform, the church has, with the Wesleyan Methodist, we have some structural, movement of the councils and pastorates and, district church councils, executive committee and different boards and all that. To have a say, to put my mind into it, I need a platform. And that's what made me to really go for the election and reorganize the whole thing. And I think I got elected maybe consecutive 6 times,
Yes.
6 times as the vice chairman and 4 years as the chairman of a deanery. It was a great experience because it gave me an opportunity to visit people.
Yes.
Today's my messages are influenced by the experience of the life of the people in the grassroots level. You go to any village, you say Esana, they will tell you where, because I visited them along with my wife, visited nook and corner, and even I know the properties where the properties are lying idle. Even I know the leaders of the villages where I have interaction and continues to have the interaction even today. and almost all the churches. And I'm in touch with almost all the leaders of every church, every pastorate. So that gives me a broader vision to reshape my vision, to reorganize my movement in the diocese as the leader and a God's servant. I'm not a politician, but I'm a spiritual leader. But spiritual leader need to be equipped with people's mind. And ultimately, people relationship is polito. Politics is nothing but interacting with people. And that's it.
Yeah, one final question, Tandragaru. Being the first bishop in Medak Diocese from the newly formed state of Telangana, and we are well aware you are the 8th bishop. Now 4 years have passed. What is your vision for this great diocese for the upcoming years?
As I said, I began this interview with, reorganize, reorient and rebuild. We have to fit into the modern thought. This church is established to cater to the poor and the poorest. And the CSI is a charity, biggest, second charity-oriented company in India. More than 2,000 crores of turnover of all the 24 units of the thing. And for us, the head is the moderator. At present, we have Dharmaraj Rasalam Tandragaru in South Kerala. And we have Ruben Mark as the deputy moderator, Vimal Sukumar as the treasurer, and Ratan Raj Fernandez.
Yes,
Ratna Raj Fernandez, he's our general secretary. Now we are charity for uplifting the life of the people, for goodness of life, envisaged in the kingdom of God. So we have huge lands. We need to put it to optimum use. Of course, we have problems. Respect each other, organize with each other. You put this land to the maximum use to raise finances to feed the needy one. Let not take any fees from the hostel children, but prepare with a mind for the next generation. Let us prepare our people for our mission. Let us reorganize, get back our own mission fields which we have lost. Get back our mission again. Our mission is to get back our mission again. A new mission should begin. And the mission should have a vision. And the vision is to the goodness of life. Select people, prepare our people, train our people for our mission. Earlier, when I was a young boy, somebody asked me, what do you want to become? I said, I want to become a train driver. I said, why? Because bus is small, car is small, but train is too long. That was my understanding at that small age. But later when God called me, He gave me a train itself, a long chain of pastorates. Therefore, the vision for the coming future is to maximum to put utilization and to serve the people. To say this thing. After 4 years of experience, I think I want to be more open. I want to be more transparent. I've come, God called me here. I fought for so many years. My wife and my family suffered for what I stood for. We were in districts with children. My children lost years of education, though my God didn't leave me at all. But truthfully, I'll tell you, preach the word of God. Let the God's presence be given to the world. That is our main responsibility. The church is the living presence of God in this world. Let the world experience the living Christ through the church and church's mind and church's mission. Let the world experience God's love. And we are the instruments, as a church, as a diocese, are the instruments of God to show the world Jesus is living and He is present in our lives. May God bless Malayalam Church. Let Christ be the center, and let Malayalam Church be Christ-centered community and family. God bless you.
Thank you, Tandragaru. It is a great privilege and honor for us that you took a time of your hectic schedule and spoke to us and shared your rich experiences. We consider this as a very great opportunity, and thank you, Tandragaru, from the bottom of our heart for this time.
Thank you. I appreciate your effort, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
God bless you.